So, good morning. As a revision, let us continue with some of the renal function test. So, in that, creatinine clearance is one of the important essay. Also, let us discuss about jaundice, that is, definition and different types of jaundice. So, creatinine clearance, as I told you, it is one of the important 10-mark question. It comes under renal function test. So, what is the meaning of? There are different tests to assess renal function. It may be analysis of normal urine, abnormal urine analysis. It may be testing biochemical parameter like urea creatinine, measuring the glomerular filtration rate, all those things. So, clearance test measure the glomerular filtration rate, that is filtrating capacity of the kidney. These tests measure actual excretory capacity of the kidney, since they measure the amount of substance excreted in the urine as compared to the concentration of the same in the plasma. So, there is a need of some balance. So, all type of clearance test measure the GFR, that is glomerular filtration rate. These tests measure the actual excretory capacity of the kidney. What they do, they measure the amount of the substance excreted in the urine as compared to the concentration of the same substance in the plasma. So like that, creatinine clearance is defined as the volume of plasma that would be completely cleared off from creatinine in 1 minute. Okay. So volume of plasma that would be completely cleared off from creatinine in 1 minute. So it is given by the formula UV by P, where U is the concentration of creatinine in urine, V is volume of urine formed in 1 minute. Okay, volume of urine formed in 1 minute, that is, we have to convert 24 hours urine volume in 1 minute. Okay, we have to convert it to 1 minute. So because the unit everything is in ml per minute. The formula is UV by P. Okay, so U is the concentration of the creatinine in urine, V is the volume of urine formed in 1 minute, and P is concentration of plasma creatinine. So what is that 1.73? It is generally accepted body surface area. Okay, generally accepted body surface area. So how to perform this test? So there are some requirement. Patient should note the 24 hours urine volume. So we need to give a container with the preservative. Here thymol crystal used as preservative. So polythene container to collect 24 hours urine. So urine preservative is thymol crystals. Few crystals of thymol is added to a polythene container. So patient here need not to bring 24 hours urine. So he can just measure the volume and note down. That is enough. So how to collect the urine? Suppose the patient should be instructed to empty the bladder in the beginning of the period. For example, if we plan to start collect 8 am to next day 8 am 24 hours. So what we have to do? Collect the urine So patient should be instructed to empty the bladder at the beginning of the period. For example, starting 8 am, discard the urine. So if you are collecting today 8 a.m. till tomorrow 8 a.m., today's 8 a.m. urine need to be discarded. So collect the rest of the urine until next day 8 o'clock. Okay, collect the urine until next day 8 a.m. So today's 8 a.m. urine is discarded, then collect the urine until next day 8 o'clock 8 a.m. So next day 8 a.m. urine specimen is sample is added. Okay, previous day 8 a.m. urine specimen is discarded. That is the point you have to remember. So there are some precautions you have to take. Mainly diuretic drinks and some drugs should be avoided, should not be given to the patient during 24 hours urine collection, because this may be change the urine volume, that may affect the urine volume. Okay, so these are the some of the precautions you have to take. So what is the clinical significance, what is the normal range for this creatinine clearance? So before that, let us see how to estimate urine and serum creatinine. So according to the formula, we have to estimate serum and urine creatinine, plasma or urine creatinine. So generally by manual method, serum creatinine is estimated by Jaffe's method. Here creatinine is reacted with alkaline picric acid. Creatinine is reacted with picric acid in alkaline condition, that is sodium hydroxide, in the presence of sodium hydroxide, to form orange alkaline picrate solution. So picric acid is yellow in color, alkaline picrate solution is orange in color. So creatinine react with picric acid under alkaline condition to form orange creatinine picrate, which is orange in color. Okay, so here alkaline condition is maintained by 0.75 molar sodium hydroxide. Then you can measure the optical density using spectrophotometer or colorimeter at 540 nanometer. Okay, so what is the clinical significance? Normal range, before that let us see the normal range. See, remember here normal range is denoted by ml per minute. That is why we have to convert everything to minute, ml per minute. For male it is slightly higher side, 105 plus or minus 20 ml per minute. For female it is 95 plus or minus 20 ml per minute. Okay, so what is the clinical significance? Why we have to do creatinine clearance test? What is the diagnostic importance or clinical significance? So remember, a decrease in clearance less than 75% of the normal serves as sensitive indicator of decreased glomerular filtration rate. So creatinine clearance gives an idea about glomerular filtration rate, that is filtrating capacity of the kidney. So it reveals the filtrating capacity of the kidney. So this test is useful in early detection of impaired renal function. There are other clinical manifestations, so we need to do other tests, serum creatinine and all, but this gives an idea about glomerular filtration rate. Okay, so abnormal results of creatinine clearance lowers the normal glomerular filtration rate, and it indicate acute tubular necrosis, acute nephrotic syndrome, acute and chronic renal disease, AKD or CKD, acute or chronic renal failure, glomerulonephritis, inflammation, okay, of the nephron. So all these cases. So you have to remember here the procedure and definition for creatinine clearance, and what are the precautions to be taken, how to collect the urine, also normal range and clinical significance. Mainly it reveals the glomerular filtration rate. A decrease in the creatinine clearance serves as sensitive indicator for glomerular filtration rate. Okay. Now let us see the second important question, that is related to jaundice. So again, I don't want to go in detail. You know that how bilirubin, increase in the bilirubin above the normal 2, it is indication of jaundice. Before coming that, how bilirubin is formed, what is the lifespan of RBC? 120 days. After that, that is enters to the reticular endothelial system for degradation. So hemoglobin, heme is protoporphyrin iron, and globulin goes to the amino acid pole. Heme is converted to biliverdin, which is further converted to bilirubin. Bilirubin is toxic, so it is in combined with albumin, enters the blood, enters the liver, where conjugation takes place with the glucuronic acid to form mono or diglucuronic acid, okay, which is water soluble or conjugated bilirubin. Okay, so water soluble or conjugated bilirubin. So further it enters the through the biliary canaliculi, it enters the intestine, where it is acted upon by intestinal bacteria to form urobilinogen, some part, okay, so come back and to the blood, and in the stool it is called stercobilin or stercobilinogen. Okay, urobilin is oxidized form. So what is jaundice? It is the clinical condition with yellowish discoloration of the sclera, conjunctiva, skin, nail beds or mucous membrane. Okay, icterus is actually Greek word for jaundice. So usually bilirubin, total bilirubin normal range is within 1 milligram per dl. If it is exceed 2 milligram per dl, we call hyperbilirubinemia, then it is jaundice. 1 to 2 it is latent. Okay, level between 1 to 2 milligram is termed as latent jaundice. So there are 3 types of jaundice. Hemolytic jaundice is prehepatic jaundice. Before liver there is some problem. Hepatic jaundice, that is hepatocellular jaundice. Also hepatic jaundice is also called as hepatocellular jaundice, because there is a problem in the liver cell, death or necrosis, damage to the liver cell. Third one is the obstructive jaundice. So there is no problem in the before the liver, in the liver proper, but after that there is some problem, that is post hepatic jaundice, also called as obstructive jaundice or regurgitation jaundice. Now let us see what is the we have already seen this hemolytic jaundice. As the name indicated, there is excess hemolysis. This is mainly occurs in hemolytic disorder. The main point you have to remember is liver is the conjugating factory. So in normal individual, so after 120 days RBC lifespan over, it is degraded in the liver, spleen, in the normal this one. So bilirubin concentration is less than 1 milligram. But in abnormal condition like this, bleeding is there, hemolysis is there, or excess destruction of the RBC is there, what happens? There is a need of excess conjugation. So liver is unable to conjugate over workload, excess RBC-lysed RBCs. Okay. So example, incompatible blood transfusion. Okay. Mainly we can give the example of hemolytic disease of newborn or erythroblastosis fetalis. Malaria example, especially you have to remember about the falciparum malaria, where there is hemolysis is there. Sickle cell anemia, hereditary trait, hereditary spherocytosis, it is the RBC cell membrane defect, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme defect. In these cases we can see excess hemolysis, so where hemolytic jaundice is possible. Okay, what is the main thing which is increased in the blood in hemolytic jaundice is, what is that? Increased unconjugated bilirubin. Water insoluble, okay, or indirect bilirubin. So in hemolytic jaundice there is increased serum unconjugated bilirubin because there is excess destruction of the RBCs. So it is liver is unable to conjugate extra workload. So there is increased unconjugated bilirubin. So there is increased urobilinogen and stercobilin, absence of bilirubin in the urine, okay, because of absence of the bilirubin in the urine. Why? Because when elevated in the blood, unconjugated bilirubin is not excreted in the urine as it is bound to albumin and it is not filtered by the kidney in the kidney. So what about conjugated bilirubin? It's water soluble, hence it is found dissolved in the blood and not bound to albumin. So therefore conjugated bilirubin when elevated in the blood is excreted in the urine, but not the unconjugated bilirubin. So second type is hepatic jaundice or hepatocellular jaundice. Hepatic jaundice, actually there is a problem in the liver, okay. It may be because of the viral hepatitis, toxic hepatitis, or chronic hepatitis. Chronic hepatitis, mainly liver cirrhosis or necrosis or death of the liver cell, mainly may be because of the alcoholic liver cirrhosis or some type of cancer, or mainly because of the cancerous conditions. Viral hepatitis, as you know, virus infection, mainly hepatitis C and hepatitis B. Some toxic, because liver detoxification is one of the main function of the liver. So so there is possibility of toxic hepatitis when hepatotoxic excess intake of hepatotoxic drugs, okay. So what is the clinical manifestation in this condition? There is both increased in the conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin, okay. So there is dark colored urine due to excessive excretion of bilirubin and pale colored stool is there, and absence of stercobilin is the important point. So what are the biochemical findings? So in prehepatic there is increase in unconjugated bilirubin in the serum, okay, indirect bilirubin. But in case of hepatic jaundice, there is increased in the serum conjugated bilirubin also, unconjugated bilirubin also, okay. There is slight increase in the alkaline alanine transaminase ALT. There is increase in the there is increase in the liver enzymes, mainly ALT. What is ALT? Alanine transaminase. Remember that out of three enzymes, liver enzymes, aspartate transaminase, alanine transaminase, and alkaline phosphatase, ALT is specific for liver. So also there is increase in the serum alkaline phosphatase, okay. See, particularly in viral hepatitis, you can see ALT level usually normal is 0 to 40 international units per liter, but in viral hepatitis it may go up to 400 or even 4000, 10 to 100 times higher, okay, if any liver cell damage, okay. Increase in the alkaline phosphatase, not a high, moderate increase. So there is excretion of bilirubin, conjugated bilirubin in bile, and also bile salt in the urine. So absence of stercobilin in feces. Why absence of stercobilin in feces? Because of partial biliary obstruction. Less amount of bilirubin enters the intestine. There is a biliary obstruction also in hepatic jaundice. So less because of biliary obstruction, which is partial, less amount of bilirubin enters the intestine, and therefore less amount of stercobilin is formed. Also because of hepatocellular failure, the amount of urobilinogen re-excreted by the liver, that is enterohepatic circulation is decreased, okay. So third one is the obstructive jaundice. What is the meaning of this? There is no problem in before and in the liver actually. After that, after conjugation, there is some problem, that is the obstructive jaundice. That is mainly due to the obstruction in the bile passage, preventing the entry of bile into the intestine. This point you have to remember: obstruction of the bile passage, preventing entry of bile into intestine. And there is obstruction in the bile passage, so entry of bile into the intestine is prevented. Therefore, the blood level of bilirubin increases. Which bilirubin? Conjugated bilirubin. So, in obstructive jaundice or post-hepatic jaundice, there is increased conjugated bilirubin. So, conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, water soluble or conjugated or direct bilirubin increases in post-hepatic jaundice. Okay. What are the extra hepatic causes? Stone in the gallbladder. You know that the gallbladder is just beneath the liver. So, there is a chance of stone in the gallbladder. Mainly, what type of stone possible? Bilirubin and cholesterol stone. There is stone in the gallbladder. When it reaches to the neck, there is a chance of biliary obstruction. Also, in some cases of carcinoma of the head of the pancreas, enlarged lymph glands, or biliary atresia, abnormality in the anatomy, there is a possible of extrahepatic causes. Intrahepatic causes: primary hepatoma, biliary cirrhosis, lymphomas some type. Okay. So obstructive jaundice is characterized by increased conjugated bilirubin. There is increases serum conjugated bilirubin, serum alkaline phosphatase. So remember that there is obstruction in the conjugation takes place, there is obstruction in the flow of bile. So biliary canaliculi also secrete alkaline phosphatase, which comes back to the blood. Okay. Because of there is obstruction, there is regurgitation which comes back to the blood. So in obstructive jaundice, you have to remember that there is conjugated direct bilirubin is high. Okay. Also alkaline phosphatase level is very high, serum alkaline phosphatase level very high. Increase in transaminases, we can see alanine transaminase and aspartate transaminase, but ALP level is very high. Excretion of bilirubin is there, conjugated bilirubin and bile salt in urine, but absence of stercobilin in feces and urobilinogen in urine. Okay. Why absence of stercobilin in feces and urobilinogen in urine? Because of biliary obstruction, bilirubin does not enter the intestine, and therefore urobilinogen and stercobilin are not formed and not found in the urine or feces. So why absence of stercobilin and urobilinogen in urine? Because of the biliary obstruction, bilirubin does not enter the intestine, and therefore no question of formation of urobilinogen and stercobilin, which is not formed and not found in the urine or feces. So these are about 3 types of jaundice.